This episode of Off My Shelf contains coarse language and adult conversation. Listener discretion is advised. Hello, my name is Tracy James and welcome to Off My Shelf, a podcast about movies that are, well, off my shelf, where we go through my DVDs and talk about the movies in my collection. This week, Austin Wong is here to talk about two very different movies, Closer and comic book villains. Welcome!
Hello! Thanks for having me again.
Thank you for coming back for Valentine's Day episode again.
It's kind of a tradition now.
It is, yes.
I come for the pink candy.
Yeah. It's true. We have a bowl of just heart-shaped pink things, including the classic conversation hearts are in there.
Oh.
And I remember last year I went looking for them, and apparently the company that made them went bankrupt or something. They didn't make them at all last year. So when I went to get some this year, I was just like, oh my God, they're back! Had to get it.
I gotta kiss me.
Earlier today, I got one that said goals. And I was like, oh, okay.
Nice.
So, and I got one earlier. I actually took some to my office as well. And we have like a bowl there too. It's fun. And I had one that said text me. And I was like, oh my God, they're coming into modern times. It's really exciting.
Hashtag.
I didn't find any with a hashtag yet, but who knows? It's gonna happen.
I think it will happen.
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
I actually think these two movies are kind of anti-Valentine's Day movies.
I would agree. I would say that Closer is probably the worst Valentine's movie you could possibly imagine.
Yes. Since it's really... I mean, it is about relationships, sort of. But
very, very toxic relationships.
Yes, yeah. From beginning to end, and you're just like, what?
But I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I actually love this. Are we going to talk about that one first? Or is it the other one? Comic book is alphabetically...
second, but we can talk about it first, because the thing with comic book villains, I don't remember buying this movie. When I saw it on my shelf and I was like doing my schedule, I was like, what is this? I looked at it. I looked it up on IMDb, looked at the description. I was like, no recollection in any way, shape, or form.
And it's such an odd movie. I'd never heard of it before.
Okay.
Like I wanted to do the segment because I like Closer so much, and then the second one was comic book villains. I actually thought that was just a description of a DVD that was a compilation of comic book villains. I thought it was something to do with DC or something.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, which villains? Like, what is the DVD exactly? I didn't realize it was the name of the movie.
That's the actual name of the movie, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And, I had never heard of it. And I think I've heard of everything.
Mm-hmm. But you'd be surprised how many movies are made every year. And how many, like... compared to the amount, like, so many go to the theaters and so many are, like big budget movies. And not just the blockbusters, but, like, the Oscar contenders and all that kind of stuff. But there's so many that either go straight to DVD
video,
or is in, like, one, movie house for a week somewhere.
It does make me wonder, like, who's greenlighting these movies and who's
paying for it, who's making money from it,
I mean, the people in this movie, like comic book villains, they're not nobodies.
They're not.
Like, Natasha Lyonne is in it.
Yes.
Cary, what is it, Elwes?
Yeah, Cary Elwes is in it. Yeah.
And, I mean, the other people I know too,
Michael Rapaport.
Donal, Logue.
Yes.
He's in something.
Danny Masterson.
Yeah, Danny Masterson. I mean, it's a fairly well-known
group of people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Never heard of this movie. No. But it was interesting. I kind of like watching movies that I've never heard of before because I don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
Are we talking about this one? Or
let's do this one. Let's do this one. That's fine.
Okay. So I started watching this movie. It has like that pleasant voiceover by the DJ Qualls character. Mm-hmm. What year was it made?
It was made in 2002.
2002. Because it looks very 80s at the beginning.
It does. I don't know if it's that, like, it's just got like a low production quality or if it's like a style they actually went for.
I wondered that too. Like, I was trying to decide, is it supposed to be a period piece? Because it's like, like the video stores, for example, like, I mean, people are...
I mean, 2002, they were still kind of around. Like, they were definitely going down, but they were around still.
It just looked like a very old-fashioned little town. Mm-hmm. But they
also didn't have cell phones.
That's true. They didn't have cell phones. Mm-hmm. And the cars were very old.
Yes.
Like, very...
But, like, they were not 80s. Like, they were, like, mid-90s vehicles.
Right.
So I have a feeling that probably has more to do with the budget of the film than... trying to make it a period piece, I'm thinking.
So I thought it was going to be a lighthearted comedy,
Mm-hmm.
which it mostly is.
Yeah.
And, like, the music choices and the sort of, I thought, low-stakes rivalry between these two comic book stores.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you realize that the entire thing is about they want to get this collection of comic books, it looks like a silly kind of, they're going to try to outdo each other.
Yeah.
I wasn't really prepared for how dark it got in terms of...
Yeah.
Yeah. They all die.
Pretty much. They all die, pretty much. Well, no. Most of them die. One goes to prison.
Right. Only the nice guy left. But when they killed Eileen Brennan... Mm-hmm. I was surprised because she's a charming, cute little old lady.
Old lady, yeah.
And you don't usually kill the cute little old lady.
Mm-hmm.
So when he threw the knife into her gut, and then everybody was like, she's dead already, just forget it. She deserves it. She should have sold. Like, they were so...
Yeah, and they're like, what about the comic books? We gotta get the comic books. You know, just leave her. She's dead anyways.
They're terrible people.
Yes, they are. Mm-hmm.
To a level at that point that I didn't realize they were so terrible. So the movie changed a lot, and then it became more of a...
Yeah, like a
quirky, dark...
Yeah, it was sort of like into the psyche of people, how money changes you and makes you value things over people, I think is where it was kind of going.
Yeah. Or even the comic books, right? Like, they were just obsessed with the comic books. Mm-hmm. I mean, for the money, but also just...
Well, no, only one set was for the money. The other guy was like, I just want to read them. I want to touch them. I want to see them. And he's like, I have no money to get into this fight with you.
Right.
Just I will help you sell them, but first, let's get them. I want to see them and touch them, and I'll help you get rid of them.
Like, he also wanted to get credit for them. He wanted
credit
at that
for
table to be one of the famous people that had discovered a collection.
Yeah, sit at like Comic-Cons or whatever.
That's the only thing he wanted when he had no money at all.
Yeah.
You'd think he'd want some money.
I think he'd get some money out of it if he was doing it, I guess.
So he was interesting because at the beginning he sort of set up to be the lovable loser that the hero kind of likes.
I don't think he was supposed to come across as the lovable loser at any point in time, no.
Okay.
Because even he comes across so intensely gross, but you start wondering why the quote-unquote hero of the story
likes him so
likes
much.
him.
Yeah.
But it's just because he's alone, so he's an orphan.
Right.
And
he's even less than this guy.
Yeah, and he's like, he knows stuff. It's like when people idolize a person for just being smart.
Right.
It's not about money. It's not about whatever. It's just like, he's into comic books. I'm into comic books, and he knows everything about comic books. He's just like...
And he was also kind of the creator of this little community of comic book fans that this guy could feel like he belonged to.
Yes. Yeah, so it was like joining a gang, and he was like the leader of this gang.
Yeah.
That they were part of. Yeah.
But see, for me, like when they introduced him, he seemed so amiable and kind of nice. No, you didn't get that?
Well, I think my problem is as a comic book person and a collector,
right? I
go into comic book stores all the time. Not as much as I used to, but like I definitely through like my teens, 20s, and a little bit of my 30s, I went to comic books at least twice a week, right? And
I did not know this about you.
What?
Well, I mean, you have a lot of stuff in general.
I do. That is true. I do have a lot of stuff in general. But the thing is that like as soon as he came on screen and they showed his character, I was like, oh, I know that guy. I've met that guy so many times. That guy's a dick. And that was the first thing that popped into my head, right? And it's like one of those things like, because, you know, A, as a girl, and B, as a black girl, we are not comic book people, right?
Right.
Quote unquote.
The stereotype of a comic book fan would not be you.
Exactly. Right. So I would walk into a comic book store and automatically be like, what are you doing here?
Right.
Or I'd be looking for something. What do you want that trash for?
But you know what? Like,
or,
that's the kind of disaffected
thing.
White male that we kind of associate as being sort of racist now.
It's true. It's true. But I mean, in like his mind, especially like that kind of character, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter if you're black or white or whatever. If you cannot prove yourself to them as being this nerd, you're not worth their time.
Right.
You're not worth their interest.
You're a dabbler.
Yeah, you just walk in here and, you know, you just want to see a picture book. We'll go somewhere else.
Right.
You know, it's that kind of thing. So
That's
as soon as he was introduced, I was like, I'm not that guy. That guy's a dick. All
well,
right.
what about the other two then? The rival comic book people that weren't even really into comic books.
Mm-hmm.
They were just there to make money.
Oh, I've met those people too.
Do you like them better?
No.
No.
No, because you can't ask them a question.
Right.
You can't look for something. Or if you're like, hey, I saw this thing and I'm looking for something similar to that, they're like, I don't know what that is. But we have the same thing in the back. You're like, that's not what I'm looking for.
Right.
You know, you want the person that's in between. Somebody who has at least some knowledge or actually cares about their merchandise.
But not super snobby about it.
No, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I think that's like with any store. If you go to buy shoes or a computer or
Sure. You want a courteous person to help you that's not going to look down on you.
Yeah. And
but
you
knows
also
something.
that knows something, you know. So yeah, I've definitely met the two kinds of people, and then even Danny Matheson's character, the rich kid who just comes in to buy comic books.
Right.
He may read them, but it's an investment.
Right.
You know.
He's never going to read them. He's just going to put them somewhere so that he collects them.
So, like, yeah, they're definitely all characters that I've recognized and I've met.
That's probably why you bought it. I mean, this is sort of a very strong interest of yours. So.
Yeah. Probably. It was just shocking to me that I had, like, absolutely no recollection of this movie in any way, shape, or form.
That's right.
And even when it started playing, I was like, I've never seen this. What are you talking about?
That's
this is
hilarious.
crazy.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So did you like it?
No. It is not. I get what they were doing, but it's not a good movie.
I agree with you. It is not a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like partly there's no character to root for, which is fine. Like, you can have like anti-heroes or whatever, but it just the scale of what they ended up doing seems so ridiculous that it just seemed like they wouldn't just jump to this conclusion.
They wouldn't get that far, kind of thing. Yeah,
and they wouldn't suddenly turn into like these. Well, maybe, but I mean, they're so indifferent to killing people.
Yes, suddenly.
Yeah, and they all seem like most of them seem like relatively normal people.
Mm-hmm.
It just seemed kind of like a different type of movie that twist sort of seemed
it does switch, right? Yeah.
I mean, it was interesting that it switched, but it does seem ridiculous.
Yeah, but I mean, I think people have killed other people for less. So, I mean, like, I think the quote-unquote dabblers were all about, like, oh my god, because the wife wanted to have a baby, and they were too broke to have a baby, and all this kind of stuff. So I think for them, it was all about the money and what a future would bring for them.
But would they really be okay with, like, killing a little old lady? Like, it's a very different type of person that is okay with doing the things that they did. And when he died, it seemed crazy to me that it was just this...
Yeah, that seemed really weird.
It just seemed like this weird, a few accidents here and there, and then there's nothing to do, so let's just kill him.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I think it was just sort of... The writer was like, I have this idea, I want to do this, and then it got to the end, and it was like, how do I finish this? What do I do with them now that they're in this bad situation? Do they all go to jail? Do they all die somehow? How are they gonna die?
It looks like he just kind of came up with the darkest way he could end them.
Yeah. And I think like even with the baseball card thing and whatever, to kind of like switch it up, there's other things of value in the home is what they were kind of going for. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm like, that doesn't make you that kid a good person either.
It makes him a better person that he didn't want to kill anybody.
Yes,
and he tried to help her. Mm-hmm. Like he is the only good person in the whole movie because I mean, outside of the lady, I guess, the woman, the old lady, because like he was just trying to help his friend, and then when it started getting bad, he didn't want to do it anymore.
Exactly,
and he had no real vested interest in these comic books.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the reason why, too, is that he finally had a friend outside of the group he was used to. Yeah. And he's like, oh, maybe friendship is, telling stories and listening to each other and not being yelled at about having to do something.
They were very explicit about that, too, when he said, I realized that there's a world outside of comic books. Mm-hmm. And the old lady is, like, saying, yeah, my son didn't really live his life because he was obsessed with comic books. So read other things, or when she talks about Spain. So it was very much, she was like this little window to a different world. Yeah,
to just experience something else, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Which was nice. I mean, I feel like if it had focused more on his journey, because he was kind of a backseat character in a way. Like, he was there for a lot of it, and you could see sort of growth, but he was kind of the narrator, and he had nothing to do with the real plot. Yeah. It was so focused on this rivalry between the two that I mean, if there's a lesson to be learned, it sort of seemed like an afterthought.
Yes, that is very true. I agree. I don't know. Like, I just have such short notes on this movie because it wasn't so bad that I was like, oh my god, everything is wrong. Yeah. But also at the same time, I was just kind of like, you know, like I just shrugged at what was going on.
It was not very deep, really. No. And it was like, I mean, it wasn't that predictable for me because I didn't know where it was going to go. Mm-hmm. But it was a very surface kind of tension. Like, what are they going to do next? It was like just the most kind of obvious things. Like, now we're going to try to steal it and things are going to go wrong. Yes. I mean, one thing I thought was sort of interesting was Cary. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Elwes.
I know. I think I always get it wrong too.
Let's just call him Cary.
Cary, so, it, yes.
Cary, I'm not used to seeing him as a crazy efficient fighter thug.
Okay, that makes sense. Yes, yeah, because he was the bad guy. Yeah,
he was the bad guy. I actually did enjoy him though. Like, I felt he looked very handsome in his broodingness. Yeah, and they painted him as like, you know, he's just hanging out at a strip club watching a stripper girlfriend. Like, they're working so hard to make him like this sort of badass guy. Yeah, and I couldn't quite believe it at first because I just think of him as Princess Bride or whatever. Yeah, but I mean, I feel he kind of sold it. And I kind of enjoyed him because he was so different than the other characters. Like, kind of liked having him around. But at the same time, he was just a plot device. Like, they didn't really explore him at all.
Yeah, because it was more about just be like, let's throw a little bit of chaos in here, but we're not going to do anything.
To tip it over into the chaos.
Yes. So, I mean, I don't know. Yeah. I love that one of my notes here is Babylon 5 because they made mention of Babylon 5. This is the level of how I was looking at this movie. Okay, I mean, what can I say? It's fine. Funny. It's fine. And also, one thing I did notice in one shot in the comic book store, because the last episode we did was on Clerks. A guy in there was wearing a Clerks t-shirt, and I was like, oh, connection! Yeah. So, I just
well, this is clearly, I think, someone inspired by Clerks. Like, kind of losers sort of pontificating about things. Mm-hmm. You know, it's similar.
I mean,
Clerks is a better movie by far.
Yes. I mean, it was done, 15 years earlier, but it was definitely still better. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. 15? No, 10. 10 years earlier. It was definitely better. There was more of like a actual like point to the overall, you know, goings on. Whereas this, you're just like, people killed an old lady for comic books.
Right, and then started killing each other.
For no reason.
I feel like,
in particular.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the movie does have kind of a moral because of the narrator. He explicitly says, oh, there was more to life than books, and now I'm traveling, and now I'm in Spain. Or whatever. Like, I mean, but I feel like the meat of the movie does not really serve that moral that much. It was just more about enjoying how venal these people can get.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, because of the acting level that's actually in the movie in these kind of weird roles, I wonder if the problem with the movie has more to do with the editing than the actual, like, story being told. Because if it was, like, edited together slightly differently and, like, the main guy be more in it compared to the rivalry and sort of had tighter scenes instead.
And yet, he doesn't have much of a plot except that he's sort of hanging around. Like, the driving plot is this rivalry. It's almost like one of the people... Like, he should have been maybe more involved in the plot and been one of the people that had a rivalry, and he has a change.
Well, maybe that's that's the whole point, is that these people are so obsessed with their rivalry, they forget about him and the fact that... he's also a contender in all of this. Right. Kind of thing. I don't know. I
thought it was a bit strange, too, when Natasha Lyonne decided to run over the guy.
Yes.
Like, that was the first volley in kind of extreme violence that seems unwarranted.
Yeah, as he's walking, eating chocolates for some reason, crossing the street.
Exactly.
You're just like, what's happening?
Like, even if you want to beat him for this thing, it doesn't seem like your first move is to run him over with your car.
Agreed,
when it's very obviously that you did it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we can see you and your vehicle in the middle of the day. And
identify you. It's a crazy thing to do plot-wise in any way, because, like, he doesn't report or anything like that, but it's just... Yeah. Yeah.
And at that point in time, he hadn't done anything to them either.
And he went over there with this kind of silly plan that he's giving up. He's accept that they'll buy all the comic books. He just wants the credit and wants to help them. And then she's very mean to him.
Yeah.
For kind of no reason.
No reason at all, yeah. But I think maybe, because the way the story is set up is that they've had a rivalry for a long time, so maybe it's some of that animosity or something. I don't know. It's
kind of hard to really... Like, in real life, if there's a town and there's two different stores and they're on opposite sides of town, like, that seems sort of legitimate.
Yeah, to me, yeah.
Like, you can have more than one store. I guess the whole point was it's such a small town that it's hard to have more than one store.
And you fall into a group, like, the real readers or the dabblers, and that decides which store you go to.
Rapaport, though.
Yes.
He was the other... He's actually the other kind of innocent.
In the whole thing, yeah. Because at the end, he's like, I told her and she doesn't want to sell, so let's forget about it. And the wife is just like, no, we have to do this.
Yeah, she goes all insane.
Yeah.
And he didn't, like, know that the other party was interested at first. He legitimately got a tip, went over and asked. He didn't really plot anything. No, he didn't. And then the wife kind of went crazy and kills him. Essentially kills him. So it's... I don't know. Like, I think this is the problem with this movie. There's a lot of, like, why did you do this? Exactly. Why is this happening? Yeah. What is the point of what you're doing? It's sort of a weird overall thing. Yeah. The extreme swings in their actions does not seem supported by their motivations or what we've seen. Exactly. So it just seems like out of the blue, and it's hard to know how to take it. Exactly, yeah. So I think that's one of the reasons why the movie comes across so meh. Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It was easy to watch. Yes, it was easy. It wasn't a long movie. It was not long. It was an hour and a half, but it was like, it moved relatively quickly. Mm-hmm. I didn't really like also how dark he got, that he's like menacing this poor girl with a hammer. Yes. Like, it just seemed really out of, It seemed unnecessary. It seemed unnecessary. Yeah. To be that violent and that, I mean, it didn't seem, like, he seems like a true psychopath by that point. By that point, yes. But also he made it extremely sexual as well. Yes, he did. Yeah. Because he was going on about how, he'd like a girl like that. Yeah, and I was just like, so you're going to start there and then get worse. Okay, I don't like this. Yeah, it was not a fun scene. No. I think it was just kind of unnecessary in general. I'm really happy they didn't actually show any of the violence that happened. Yeah. It was left to the quote-unquote imagination. Right. But when they show her later and she's getting pulled out on a gurney, you're just like, oh my god, what did you do to this poor woman? He must have smashed her feet because he said that she wasn't going to be able to dance anymore. Yeah. And her face was bloody and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty awful. Hit her. I mean, I guess it's supposed to think he got what he deserved. Yeah. Suicide by cop. Yes. Ugh. It's all kind of horrible. Yeah. I think the more I think about it, I'm like, this is not a good movie. I mean, you think about what happened to all of them. Like, it's quite grim given the tone of the movie. Mm-hmm. All their deaths and what happened. It seems so unnecessary. It does. Well, and I think maybe that's one of the reasons why it falls so flat. You're like, there's no real reason any of this is happening. I mean, it's almost going for that kind of Tarantino vibe where there's extreme violence, but with kind of quirky conversation and unexpected swings. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, those movies work so much better because I don't know why. You can kind of believe the characters more. Yeah, I think the way the characters are developed makes more sense compared to this. Because like you said, the characters just they go and they jump. They don't. There's no like real progression, right? From being like this innocent bystander to being this like crazy killer. Yeah. So it's kind of odd. But I mean, I think, who was it? A guy named James Robinson who wrote and directed it. I didn't check if it was his first movie or not. I didn't check either. Did he do anything else after that? Let's just see. All right. He did very little and some very bad movies. James Dale Robinson? Woo! Yeah. So he's the actual, he's the writer of comic books and screenplays, and he's known for his interest in vintage collectibles and memorabilia. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. It does. So he wrote something that he knows and loves. Yeah, this is the only movie he directed. Okay. He was given a special thanks in Justice League and Avengers Endgame for some reason. Who knows? But he was also has a writing credit for Comic Book Villains, of course. And after that, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which was a
horrible comic book movie, and Son of Batman video.
So this was very much probably a passion project for him.
Yeah, probably. It looks like it. Have you ever seen The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
No, I have not.
You want to talk about a waste of a cast and a waste of a story? Well, and it's so hard to watch.
Who is in that movie?
Sean Connery is the first person that comes to mind.
I remember when it was out. I just didn't see it.
Yeah, don't. It's okay. Let's see. Sean Connery, Stuart Townsend, Shane West, Peter Wilson. I thought the actors that they had in the movie should have done the movie justice. Like,
right.
Visually and stuff, and, like, seeing stuff they'd already been in, they have the ability. But then the actual movie, like, the storyline, how they put it together, the amount of CG they put in there in the worst ways, it was just...
That's too bad, because I remember it got a bit of a push, too. Like, it wasn't a small movie.
Oh, no. It was a crazy big movie. Like, it was one of those movies that was, like, supposed to be a big budget film.
A big franchise.
Made all of the money. We're going to come back for a franchise. The ending of the movie sets up for a franchise. And it bombed like crazy.
Right.
So...
I think it's very tricky to... Well, maybe I'll take it back. I was going to say, like, when you try to do a movie based on a comic book or something that has really big fans, it can fail very miserably if people feel like you've been untrue to the source material or whatever.
It's not just untrue to the source material, but if you don't actually understand the source material and you only understand, like, the top level of it, you're like, ooh, it's about a hunter and a vampire and Dorian Gray, they're hanging out together in old England. Oh, we can do that.
Right.
No, but it's more about, like, the characters and their backstory and how their relationship is built together and stuff happens because of their relationship. You know, that kind of thing.
Some depth.
There's some, yeah. And that's the problem with movies like League of Extraordinary. There's no depth to it. Everything's just right on the surface.
Action,
there's no character building. Yeah, action. So it's kind of hard, like, when you don't actually understand the character.
I mean, in a way, that's what the problem is with this movie, too, this comic book villains, because everything's just the things they do. Mm-hmm. We kind of understand because they want money, but we don't spend very much time with them learning about them as people. Like, we just see them doing things.
Well, I think that based on the description of who he is that you just read, I think that has to do with the fact that he's, like me, met these people in his dealings getting memorabilia and comic books and whatever.
So he knows who they are.
He knows who they are, but he's not friends with them. He doesn't see what they do outside of that. He doesn't see the depth of where they go. He's just like, wouldn't it be interesting if I had all these people together and something crazy happened? and I think that's what he did. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And maybe that's why there's not depth, because he doesn't really know who the characters actually are.
That makes sense. Yeah. It's not The Room bad.
Oh, no.
It's
No.
It's a watchable movie, and it's got a plot. Yeah. It's fine. It's just not very good.
And if you like comic books, there's a lot of, like I said, there's people you've met in this. Right. Also, they talk about a lot of comic books where you're like, ooh, I like that one and that one. Name dropping. It's very exciting.
And I mean, I don't mind when movies go dark. It just seems it was so pointless for them.
Yes. And that's the problem with that. Yeah. And talking about dark movies... I guess we can switch to Closer. Yeah. Because we hit dark. And I was just like, whew.
It is dark.
Dark movies. Like, beginning to end. Yeah. That movie is pretty dark.
It's yeah. So I'll tell you. So Closer, when I found... Like, I'm a huge Julia Roberts fan. Mm-hmm. Like, she's my all-time favorite actor. Like, I love her. I've loved her ever since Pretty Woman. Okay. And so I would religiously go see every single thing she did, like, first day, and I'd try to read everything about it or whatever. Yeah. So I had heard that she was going to be in this movie, and I went out and I bought the play, because this movie Closer is based on a play.
I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah. And actually the screenwriter, Patrick Marber, he's also the person that wrote the play. Okay. He adapted his own
work for screen. Okay. Yeah.
And he's on other plays as well. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so I got the script from Theater Books, that store that used to exist. Okay. And I just thought, this is so amazing. Like, it's just, like, the words were so like the dialogue you see in the movie. It's very witty. They're very eloquent.
Yeah.
They're very well spoken.
But it's also very like intense.
It's
and, like,
very intense, and they really dig at each other like mercilessly.
Yes.
But it's kind of a pleasure to read as well because I mean it's so well written and you can hear their voices.
Yeah.
So at the time I had a roommate. Her name was Monica, and she was pretty theatrical. And so I had this play, and one night, for something to do, we decided that we would, because there's really only the 4 characters, we would just read the entire play out loud, and I was the 2 male characters, and she was the 2 female characters, and we just sort of performed the play in our apartment.
Okay.
It was so fun.
Yeah.
Like, it's fun to say the words, and it's fun to kind of get all dramatic, because so many dramatic things happen in this movie.
Yes, it does.
In this play.
Yeah.
Anyway, all that to say, I'm a huge fan of the play, even though it's dark.
Yeah.
And I was dying to see it, and so I was very excited to see the movie. And when I watched it, I feel like they did a pretty good job. Like, it was very faithful.
Oh, it is? Okay.
To the play. Very, very faithful.
Okay.
And, like, the actors, like, I've never actually seen the play performed.
Okay.
So, it's the only thing I've ever seen it performed visually, outside of my own performance. I'd love to see the play if it was ever staged somewhere. But, so I had probably a different level than a lot of people because I knew what was going to happen. I knew where they were going to go, and I was also familiar with the dialogue to the point where I was kind of waiting for lines. Yeah. And anyway, so I really liked this movie, but I remember raving about it and being excited about it and bringing friends to see it and everything. And a lot of people thought it was okay, but a lot of them thought it was chilly, a little too distant. Like they found it cold. They didn't like any of the characters. They didn't really enjoy it.
I don't think you're meant to like any of the characters though.
No,
they're all awful people.
Except for poor Natalie Portman, Alice.
I don't think she's a nice person in particular.
I feel bad for her.
I think she gets the worst deal out of all of it by the end of the movie. She
gets the worst deal, yeah.
But I also don't think she's a nice person either.
How come?
So the thing is her character, like, if she's into something, she's into something. If she's not into something, she's just out. She just leaves. She just goes. She just decided, disappears. And you know what? If you can turn off that love and not love, fine. But at the same time, you are not taking responsibility of what you have done within a relationship or anything. And she comes across as, I think they try to bring across as, a nymph. Like, she's young and she's naive, but she's precocious, but she's also alluring with this whole stripper thing, and she's like, ooh, look at my body, look at all this kind of stuff, right? And, like, the problem is she doesn't take responsibility for herself. She doesn't take responsibility for her space. She doesn't take responsibility for her actions towards other people, even though in this particular story, things are done to her that are not very pleasant.
I can see this. She is quite careless with other people.
Yes.
But in this story, she definitely gets the shaft.
She does, yeah. By the end of it, you're just like...
I mean, I'm happy that she walks away at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's such a dick.
He is.
Like, so Jude Law's character...
is the worst out of all of them.
He's the worst. He cannot decide who he wants. He wants...
No, it's not that he can't decide. It's that he wants everything.
He wants it all. And he doesn't want anybody else to have anything.
Yeah. And also, if he can't have it, he wants it even more. And he fights harder and harder and harder for it. So, because, like, especially the part where... Julia Roberts, they're finally together. Yes. And she sleeps with her ex-husband.
This is okay, yeah. Just to get him to sign the divorce
paper. Yeah. That's why she does it. First of all, the fact that she did it is stupid. Second of all, like, the fact that Jude Law is suddenly completely disgusted and turned off by her because of this, you're just like... You fought so hard for her, and you were sleeping with her while she was sleeping with her husband in the first place. And then suddenly, she's disgusting, and you can never see her again. And you're just like...
It's so ridiculous. What? Like, it's such a ridiculous reaction, given what he's done.
Yes.
Like, he's done far worse. And she did it just so that they could get him out of the way. Like, it was so ridiculous that I felt like I hated him before, but then I hated him even more.
Even more at that point in time, because... There you are, like, you broke someone's heart, then you broke up another relationship
Yeah.
to get what you want. And when you have it, all of a sudden you're just like, that thing's tainted. I get it away from me.
Yeah. And then he loses that relationship, and then he goes back to Alice,
Mm-hmm.
and then he fucks that up too, just because he's worried that she slept with Larry as well.
Yeah, because he's
weirdly territorial about it. Even though he's fucked everything, the fact that she slept with him and he cannot let it go.
But I think that's what happens when people who cheat are always paranoid that other people are cheating.
I don't understand why they care, though. I mean, they may be, but I mean, how do they justify their own cheating without saying, well, I mean, I cheated, but I still love this person. Why can't they just extrapolate that kind of logic?
Well, I think it's because they've been on... They don't want to be on the receiving side of that. Right? They're like, this is me, this is how I am, whatever. But if it's done to them, they're just like, that's unacceptable.
But I just think that's very hypocritical.
It is very hypocritical. I'm not saying no to that at all. It is very hypocritical. People like that are... I want to say they're narcissistic, really.
Well, they definitely are, because they literally only care about their own feelings. Mm-hmm. They don't care about anybody else's feelings, right? And I mean, they could be sociopath. Like, I think Jude Law is a sociopath for sure.
Okay.
I don't think anybody else is. I think Larry...
Oh, really?
No, okay. Let's just... So, okay, Jude Law, he gets with Alice, then he wants to get with Julia because she's the hot photographer and he's kind of bored of Alice. Mm-hmm. And then... And
he's aggressive about it.
He is aggressive about it. But, I mean, from Julia's perspective, she's single at the time. Mm-hmm. She turns him down, but then eventually she gives in. Yeah. Which I don't think... doesn't make her a sociopath. You know, people make that questionable ethical choice, but he's definitely the worst. Yeah. The worst in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, because she gives in and she just kisses him.
Yeah.
And then you find out that she knows that he's in a relationship, but then she finds out, like, no, we're living together, and then she's like, oh no, this is too far. You know, it's because I think she has a line she won't cross. Right. And unfortunately, I know people like this where they're like, if you're not married, you can do whatever you want. Right. But I think she's at a point where if you're living together, you're practically married. That's not a line I'm going to cross. I'm not going to break that up. Yeah. Right? Which is sort of like a weird line, but... But
it shows that she has some sort of standard.
Yeah, whereas he
doesn't care. He really does not care at all.
He doesn't, yeah.
And he just wants what he doesn't have at the moment. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And,
or the thing that's, like, resisting him. He's like, I must have it more, you know?
But see, Alice is very innocent in that, right? So they get together in this meet cute, and then they are together for quite a long time. He writes a book about her and all that kind of thing. Yeah. And then she's crying when she overhears him talking to Julia Roberts. Mm-hmm. So she's heartbroken, and then, like, I don't think she does really anything that bad. Like, I feel like she's kind of victimized through this entire thing.
Yeah,
And then that scene with Larry... Sorry. The scene with Larry... in the strip club, is one of the best scenes in that movie. Yes,
I think so gross. It's
so gross. Yeah, but it's so effective, and like the way he thinks she keeps lying to him, but in the end we find out that she's been telling.
He's the only one she's told the truth to.
Exactly, he's the only one she's told the truth to. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, I just love that scene.
But I think it also means that she's been playing games in that relationship as well. Her other relationship.
She has. You know. But to protect herself, partly. But, yeah, for sure. Yeah. And at that point, like, it's just... I just think that scene is so interesting because he gets increasingly angry. Mm-hmm. And she's so detached. Yes. And she's detached because of everything that's happened to her, and she's defending herself. Mm-hmm. So, and, like, at that point, the other two have gone off with each other. Mm-hmm. So he's just there trying to commiserate in some small way.
Yeah, he's like drunk and he's like, I want to take something that he had. Yeah. Let's do this. And I think that scene replays in the last scene of the movie where she leaves. Yeah. Where she, at both of those situations when she's being interrogated, she tells the truth the whole time. Yes. And both men are just like, why are you lying to me?
I know.
You are just lying to me. And they go on and on and on and abuse her until she's just like, believe what you want. I don't even care anymore.
That's why I think she's such a victim in this movie. Like, I mean, you know, she makes some poor choices.
Mhm.
But I don't think there's anything fundamentally wrong that she does. She's just screwed over and over again in this movie.
Within the movie, yes, but I think fundamentally her character, like, I think if you put her in another situation, or the situation that had her land in London in the first place, see what happened before that, I have a feeling she's generally not, you know what she reminds me of? Holly Golightly.
Right.
I hate Breakfast of Champions of Passion because
Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Sorry, Breakfast at Tiffany's, sorry. Because I hate Holly Golightly so much.
Yeah.
She's careless with people's feelings, possessions, emotions, and situations, and
she's
refuses
a hooker,
to take.
so she's just trying to.
Yeah, and she refuses to take responsibility, right? And the thing is, people are just like, oh, but she's so beautiful and she's so whimsical and blah blah blah, and I'm like, she's a bitch. She's not a good person.
It is true.
And that's the kind of character that Natalie Portman's Alice reminds me of. It's that kind of, but even though bad things are done to her, just like Holly Golightly, she's sort of like pulled left and right, but then refuses to take responsibility for stuff.
I guess for me, I see her, like, she's still young. She's pretty hopeful.
I think she's supposed to be like 24, 22 or something.
And she's sort of on her own. We don't know why she's there, really. And she's obviously had some stuff happen to her that she's lying about who she is. And everything like that. But I mean, I feel like she's basically surrounded by these vipers that are doing terrible things. So she's kind of responding to that.
Yes.
So I feel like it's hard to know that she would be like that anyway, given that we see her through the prism of these super toxic men.
Yes.
Like, you know, I'd like to think that if she and Julia were able to actually spend a lot of time together, they would have actually been able to become healthier people.
And be like friends.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, both having been through the same things.
Yeah.
But
it always, like, the thing that shocks me too is that also Larry took Julia Roberts back in the first place, or that Julia Roberts actually wanted to go back to him. You know, because he's kind of he won't hit her, and it shows a couple of times that he's like, how dare you think I would hit you? I'm not that kind of monster. But you are so close, mentally and verbally abusive to this woman. You know, it's shocking to me.
But you don't even realize how bad he is at the beginning, because he seems like a really nice guy, right? And at the beginning, like, I kind of like the way they meet, although it's somewhat hard to believe that this would play out the way
it did.
But I mean, let's just accept that that's what happened, right? And then, so this crazy Jude Law character tries to set him up somehow. Yeah. And then they end up falling in love anyway, and they call him Cuba. I thought that was really cute. Yeah. And even, like, their whole thing, like, he offers some sort of stability, and he's devoted to her, and all that kind of thing. Like, he seemed fine. It's just that when tested, he turns into quite a terrible person.
He does.
And that shows the character of a person. Like, that more that when they're down on their luck or when they're against the wall, how they react more than when everything is great. Yeah. Because it's easy to be a great person when everything is
when it's great, exactly. But he becomes very vile when things are not working in his favor.
Particularly that scene that we were just talking about, like with Natalie Portman in the strip club, that's where I feel like he's really at his worst, in a way. Yeah. Because he's really, you know...
Because she's literally stripped to nothing, and then he keeps clawing at her to strip away at her, how she feels about herself, his personality, the life she's led so far.
It's very disturbing.
It is, yeah. Well, and that's one of the things, I don't know why I hadn't picked this up before in this movie, which I should have picked up pretty easily, actually, is the fact that the men in this movie, so Jude Law and Clive Owen... both of them are very righteous in their attitudes and the things that they do. They say they're sorry, but they're clearly not sorry, right? Because even the part in where Julia Roberts tells Clive Owen that they've been cheating, but the 3 seconds before that, it's like he was just on a trip to New York, walks down the stairs, he's like, I put on clothes because you might leave me. Right. I had sex with a hooker. And you're just like...
Yeah, exactly.
Like, why? But he doesn't seem apologetic about it. No. He's just like, I'm preparing myself to, like, retribution for my actions, but he's not sorry about it. No. And then you see the part where Jude Law is with Natalie Portman's character, and he walks in and he's like, I have to talk to you. I've been having an affair. And he doesn't apologize for it. He's like, I don't want you to cry, and this just happened, but he doesn't apologize for it. But the thing is the two men against the women, they degrade and call them whores, and they're disgusting. And the two women are like even Julia Roberts' character, she literally says, I'm disgusted with myself. Yeah. And he just keeps attacking her. And Natalie Portman is there begging so and crying. He's like, but why won't you love me? Let me love you, and let me make love to you, and blah 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 blah. And you're just like, but why? You have these unapologetic people doing these horrible things, yet you still want to keep them.
It's because they're obsessed with them, right? They become very dependent on. Like the two men really are. Like Jude Law especially does come off like a sociopath because he's not able to empathize with other people's emotions.
He doesn't seem to at all.
He feels like he's in the right just by announcing what he wants to do next.
Yes.
And people need to just accept that, and he's doing right by her by being open about what he wants to do next. Mm-hmm. Like, regardless of how she feels about it or how it's hurting her. Yeah. And, like, I mean, that's why it's definitely difficult to watch from that perspective. Because, like, the characters are so horrible.
Yeah. Because I think there's a difference between telling the truth and just hurting somebody.
Right.
Like, because you can tell the truth day in and day out.
Yeah.
But you can keep stuff, because I can walk down the street and see people, I'm like, I hate your shoes, your hair is stupid, blah, blah, blah. I'm just telling the truth, but it's completely unnecessary,
it's
and
cruel,
it's mean, and it's also cruel, and that's what they're doing.
And it's, I mean, this is too light a word, but he has no tact, right?
Exactly, yes, that's very true, yeah.
But I mean, the thing is, though, I mean, it shouldn't matter how he delivers it, it's really what he's doing and what he does for the whole movie. Mm-hmm. Like, he keeps tiring of them, and then wanting someone else, and then tiring of them, or
wanting
being
to
jealous
go back,
and wanting to go back. And like, I couldn't believe that he wants to go back after that whole Julia Larry debacle, right? Because he clearly has lost Julia. It's not like he leaves her on purpose to want to go back to Alice. He's just so mad about.
Yeah, so he just walks away.
Yeah, but
even though you've just broken this person's life apart.
Exactly.
For you, and you're just like, man, I'm over it.
And I feel like when Natalie Portman takes him back, like, it just seems so ridiculous that she would take him back after that. But she's young and she likes him so. But that's why I kind of like when she realizes that he's freaking out about did she sleep with Larry when they were still broken up. Yeah. And after he just had this huge affair and left her for this other woman, he has no right to ask.
To be asking her that question.
No, exactly. Not at all. And the fact that she can see that he thinks he's got every right.
Yeah.
And he says, after she tells me, he goes, I forgive you.
Yeah.
Which is like, outrageous.
It's like, no, that's...
You don't need to forgive me.
I don't need your forgiveness.
So that's why I kind of love that she goes, I don't love you anymore. Like, it's the only time in the entire movie, really, that I feel like he gets some kind of just consequences.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's true. It's he deserves that outcome. He doesn't deserve her love. He doesn't deserve anybody's love, really, if that's how he's treating people.
He deserves to be alone.
He does, yeah.
And, like, Julia, I felt, because I love her, but I felt like she does deserve to be in a relationship, but it doesn't look like she's particularly happy.
No, I don't think she deserves to be in that relationship. Right. I think she actually needs to find somebody who makes her happy.
Yeah. And
the thing is, Clive Owen's character was, when it started, was an amusement, right? It was like a distraction. It was, it was just, something that was like, let's give this a try.
I think he's like a handsome, successful person.
Yeah.
It seemed like on paper he's fine.
Mm-hmm. But that doesn't, when in practice, sometimes that doesn't always work out, and it was very clear that may have been the case at that point, right?
But she also said something to the effect that, like, it was a stable life that she had with him, and she kind of liked that.
Yeah, there's a difference between a happy life and a stable life.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons why also she kept cheating with...
Yeah.
Is that...
she wasn't happy.
She wasn't happy.
Right.
Like, it was... Like, it's one of those grass is greener things. On the surface, everything's perfect. They have a nice house. They have, like, a nice car. They go on trips together. Yeah. They can go have dinner. But they don't have anything to say to each other. They don't have anything to do. She's bored. She's like, why not do something else? And even the part where he's like, I had sex with a hooker, that must mean... I'm sorry, if you're in a committed relationship and you're on a trip for like a week, there's no reason to have sex with a hooker.
There's no reason. But they're brutally honest with each other.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's kind of... I don't know. I mean, on that point, like, I'm married and we're very monogamous, and like that would be the last thing I would ever do. Like, you know, like that, I can't really fathom it. However, I know a lot of couples that are in open relationships, and they seem to be making it work. So,
but
there are people
yeah.
But they were not in an open relationship.
Exactly. There's a difference between if you have a discussion, we are in an open relationship.
But it feels like that is a couple that should probably talk about that.
Yes.
Because they clearly like to wander.
Yeah. They do, yeah.
Okay, but going back to Alice, who turns out to be Jane Jones. Okay, so what did you think of this? So at the very beginning, when she's in London, she's not used to the way cars are on the opposite side of the road. So she gets hit by a car when she's crossing the intersection because she's looking the wrong way. Yeah. And I like when they do that, they kind of pan down from the lights or whatever, and they show her, and then she gets hit. And then Jude Law says something like, you know, you have to be careful, like, look at the right way you're looking. At the end of the movie, it ends with her crossing the street. Yeah. And it goes up to the lights. Is it supposed to be like she's going to get hit by a car? I hope not.
I actually did not pick up on that at all.
Because it was so bookendy.
Yeah. Well, because the thing that I picked out of that last scene is the fact that she is walking and all of the men that she passes are looking at her. Yeah. They all turn around. Somebody obviously makes a cat call and she's ignoring it. They're all checking her out, which means
it's going to continue in a way.
It's going to continue, yeah. You know, that's what I picked out about it. Like, I remember the pan up, but I didn't pick up on, like, the lights thing.
I saw that she was being objectified, continued, right? Which is kind of the great tragedy of her character. Yeah. But I wondered, is she crossing the street and intentionally going to get hit by a car? Or is she going... Like, that's a very dark thing to say.
Yeah. But it's also a dark movie.
It is, and I kind of felt like... I don't know.
But also, I mean, I didn't think about it that way, but at the same time, that was right before you see Jude Law go into that park where those people die, and you see the name Alice on the wall.
Yeah, in a grave type thing.
Yeah, so maybe that's a connection to that. Like, now she's not just dead to you, she's dead. So
I hope that's not what's supposed to happen, because I like her, but I feel kind of like...
But in the play, do they allude to her dying at the end, or...
I don't think so. I'll have to read it again.
Okay.
I'll find it.
Yeah. I'm just curious now, like, oh, maybe that is the illusion, or maybe they allude to something else at the end of the movie, or, you know, or something like that.
I'm going to try to find it. It's packed deep in my basement.
So somewhere, yes. Yeah. But I actually, when I rewatched it, like, I remember liking this movie when I saw it. I liked it when I bought it. And I was kind of very afraid that I was like, oh, this movie's going to be difficult and I'm going to hate it. But I actually did. It made me uncomfortable in a different way, but also I still really liked the movie. Yeah. You know?
Well, it's just very sleek, and I think it's quite well directed.
It is.
I think the acting is very good. Like, both Jude Law and Natalie Portman were nominated for Oscars.
For that one, yeah.
And they both won Golden Globes for this movie. Yeah. And I think they were nominated a lot. And I think
all of them deserve it.
Yeah, I agree. And the whole cast they won, I can't remember what it was, but the Best Ensemble Cast Award for something.
Okay.
So they were all recognized in some way or another. Yeah. And they were very good, because the movie completely relies on the performances. Like, there's no... It's all...
Yeah, there's no, like, extra people, and it's just them talking
just
to each other.
And different permutations of twos. And lots of shit happening. And they're just very intense, but very believable. And I find it... And also, like I said before, like, the dialogue is so clever that even though it's quite mean and dark, but it's just... There's something I find really delightful about witty wordplay.
Yes.
I really enjoy it. Yeah, here, award nominations. So...
Oh, no, it's just not listed.
It was the National Board of Review Best Acting by an Ensemble they won.
Oh, okay.
And Clive Owen won Best Supporting Actor from quite a few critics associations, and Natalie Portman won some. And like I say, they both won the Golden Globes. Yeah. I think it could have done better if it was maybe a more positive feeling movie. Like, it's definitely not a feel-good movie.
No, but I find Oscar movies tend to be dark and sad and all that kind of stuff. That's when you get or like they have to be ugly in some ways. That's when they win.
That is true.
You know, they won a bunch of BAFTAs too.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
And Julie made this, like, this is 2004.
4.
Right. So this is, like, right after. So she was, like, the queen of the 90s, right? Like, Pretty Woman and everything in the early 90s, Sleeping with the Enemy. And then a small lull in the middle when she made bombs like Mary Riley.
Yeah.
But then at the end of the 90s, she did My Best Friend's Wedding.
And
Notting Hill.
Notting Hill, that's the other one.
Amazing, amazing movies.
I've never seen Notting Hill. What? Yes.
Okay, we have to watch that movie. Okay. It's actually amazing movie. Okay. It's so good.
I actually love My Best Friend's Wedding. I do love that movie a great deal.
I do too, and I feel like that holds up. But it's interesting now when I watch it now, like, the Michael character is such a dick.
He's... I don't want to call him a dick. I don't think he's a dick.
I think he is.
I think he is just clueless to...
But he wants her to drop out of school and follow him around in this job, even though she clearly wants to have a career of her own.
Yeah, that's true.
And he doesn't care at all. And then when she kind of suggests a way, he's like, I'm just the asshole. I wish you told me this before. Like, he's very... No compromise.
Yeah.
It's my job and you follow me around or we're done. Which I think is a dick move.
That is kind of a dick move now I think about it.
And he doesn't seem to care that she's concerned about not going back to school.
Oh, you know what's funny about that? Danny Matheson's brother is in that movie.
He is! That little guy, the brother of
I can't
Michael.
What's his real name? I can't even remember right now.
He looks like Danny Masterson, like a little version.
Yeah. But he was in Malcolm in the Middle.
Right.
And I didn't know they were brothers for like the longest time. Because when there's like you watch, like once you know and you watch them, you're just like, well, you do kind of look alike.
They do look alike.
But like separately, you're just like, no, that's not a thing.
He was Christopher in Malcolm in the Middle, right?
No, he was...
Isn't that his name?
What? I don't think so. Because there was Malcolm, Dewey...
What is... Okay, let me just find...
Francis. His real name is Christopher.
Okay, that's why.
Yeah, his name is Christopher Matheson, Masterson, but he played Francis.
Right, Francis, that's...
Yeah.
I cannot believe you haven't seen Notting Hill.
Honestly, okay, I'm going to say something else that's going to make you gasp.
Okay.
I am not the biggest Julia Roberts fan. I'm sorry.
What? Why? She's so charming.
Is she
though? She is. She's so charming. She's okay. Did you like Pretty Woman?
No.
No.
I also hate Richard. I hate Richard Gere. I greatly dislike Richard Gere.
Why?
But also, Pretty Woman is an awful movie.
No,
and
it's
it
an amazing movie. It's an amazing movie.
I understand what they're trying to say, but at the same time, she's a prostitute that a man gives a bunch of money to because he doesn't want to feel lonely.
I know, but they do fall in love. I mean, I'm not saying that the plot doesn't have some problems.
Yeah.
Like, especially now, like, it's not the most empowering thing, because it makes it look like it's a cool thing to be a prostitute.
Yeah.
However, I feel like the execution of that movie, I felt you really could sense the chemistry between Julia Roberts and Richard Gere. And they seem to really have a strong connection, and she is smarter than... to be a hooker, and he recognized her. Like, I felt like there was a real human connection, and it was cute.
Yeah, but they already did that in, funny. Like, what, Trading Places. It's fine.
No, but they didn't do it like this.
I
guess. The fun shopping montage.
Yeah, I'm sorry, that montage does not age well because those outfits are horrible. They're so 80s, it's distracting. And you're just like, that's what you're gonna buy? Oh my god!
But you know what? I love the 80s. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Like, I totally got it. But, I mean, it's just, it's such a good movie.
It's fine. I'm sorry. It's fine.
I'll try to forgive you.
Please forgive me. I don't know. But, but on the other side of that, I've actually seen quite a lot of her filmography.
Right.
Surprisingly, a movie of hers that I like, The Mexican.
Really?
I enjoy the crap. I'm not saying it's a great movie. It doesn't deserve awards or anything.
No.
But I enjoy the crap out of that movie.
I actually enjoy it too, but I feel like I wanted to see the two of them together more.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I was disappointed.
I get that.
I felt like, ooh, Julia and Brad Pitt, that's amazing, and then they
but they're having separate adventures, and then they they start at the beginning hating each other. They have separate adventures, and they come back together. You know.
I understand that that's what they were going for, but it was disappointing on one level to me because I was hoping for fun chemistry and
their banter going. Yeah,
that's interesting.
After like Ocean's 11 and 12 and stuff like that. Yeah,
those movies are fun, but they're not her movies.
Oh no, definitely not. They tried to, what was it, Ocean's 13, where they tried to, like, she had to pretend to be herself.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
That was so
like,
terrible.
what?
That was so terrible.
So bad.
Yeah.
Like, the first movie was great, fun, yay. The second movie, you're just like, why are you making this? But, alright. The third movie, you're just like, what are you doing?
I agree.
Stop it.
They just kept getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
I watched the Sandra Bullock Ocean's 8. I thought it was cute.
It was cute.
Yeah.
I do agree it was cute.
It was cute.
I love the fact that they wanted to rob the Met Gala.
I love that too.
But I think if I was part of their troupe, I would get distracted because I'd want to, like, look at all the clothes and all of the jewelry and stuff. I would just
I love that the movie takes some time to show them all walking around in fabulous dresses.
Yes. It's very necessary.
And I thought that Cate Blanchett was fabulous in that movie.
Mm-hmm. I liked it. Yeah. Personally, I liked everybody. I liked everybody in it. Yeah. That was good. But yes.
Erin Brockovich? Did you watch Erin Brockovich?
I've never seen her. What? I know, she won the Oscar for that. She was wearing that beautiful, it was a Valentino dress, was it?
Yes, it was.
The vintage Valentino dress. Valentino. I was very jealous of that dress.
It's a very nice dress.
Loved it.
Black and white.
Yes, that was a beautiful dress.
It is a good movie. I think you would like that movie.
Sure. If I get around to it, I'll watch it. No, I think the thing is that any movie somebody recommends to me, there's a very good chance I'll watch it at some point in time. Right? No matter if I hate the idea or the who's in it or whatever, there's a very good chance at some point in time I'll be bored and it'll be on or somebody's like, here it is, and I'll be like, oh, okay, and just watch it. But definitely, if I have less of an interest in it, it's not going to be at the top of my list.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Have you seen Sleeping with the Enemy?
Yes, I have.
That's a good movie.
That is a good movie. The part where he's yelling at her because all of the cans in the cupboard are not facing forward. Yeah. Oh.
I know.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Yes.
It's such a good little signifier too that when she comes home and then the cans are all straight, it's very terrifying to her.
Yes.
I thought that was very effective.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it was. I agree.
So you like her darker oeuvre.
Apparently. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think I like My Best Friend's Wedding a great deal. That's a very light, very bright movie.
It is a light, bright movie, but it's also the one romantic comedy where she totally does not get the guy.
Yeah, that is very true. She does not.
And she does some pretty terrible things.
She does, yes.
Like, she doesn't deserve to be with him.
No. And that's one of the reasons why I enjoy that movie, is that they don't end up together. And this is also one of my problems with a lot of romantic comedies, where you're like, there is no reason for you people to be together at the end of this movie. Yeah. Like, she's done horrible things, you've done horrible things, you don't deserve each other, you deserve to just go your separate ways.
I like that movie, too, because she was, like, at the time, the biggest star in the world, and largely for romantic comedies.
Yes.
So, for her to be in this movie, everybody expected that she would end up with him at the end.
Yes.
And I 100% thought she would be I thought she would end up with him at the end. I was shocked that he runs off with Cameron Diaz in that slow-mo limo going down the road, and she's left alone, and they don't even give her another boyfriend. But I love that, because it was more realistic. Like,
it's more to real life.
It is, and she ends up just realizing, she learns, she looks at them ruefully, and then she ends up dancing with her gay best friend, her actual best friend. Yeah. Which was a very nice way to end that movie. It was satisfying, even though she didn't end up. Because I read that they were originally going to cast somebody that she meets someone at the wedding. And it ends with her dancing with this new potential love interest. Which
I think that would have ruined the overall effect of the movie. I agree. Yeah.
It would have seemed really cheap.
Yeah, they did the right thing, for sure. So I guess people would have been pretty shocked when she did Closer then.
Well, exactly. So, like, by the time she did Closer, she was trying, I think, to move away from the rom-com, and Like, she'd just done Ocean's
11 probably.
maybe the second one by then. I can't remember, but so she was kind of like the early 2000s, late 2000s. She was kind of just in a hodgepodge of things, and she was trying, I think, to get more respect.
Yes,
and trying to take roles that were slightly elevated.
Yeah, at least this wasn't too far. You know, like, it's sort of romantic, but it's just not a comedy, and it's more
but
real
it's so
world.
Far from the America's Sweetheart kind of image.
Yes,
like, she does do some terrible things as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was a very brave choice for her.
Yeah, and the thing is that she ran with it. Like, she picked up that baton and was like, "I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get in this race." And she does. She does a really great job with it.
And I feel like it's not like, I don't think she's closer to that character than, but I mean, I don't think she's really this sunny person all the time.
I don't think anybody can be that sunny all the time.
No.
Yeah, no matter how happy of a person you are, there's a certain point in time where you're just like, I'm not going to smile for 2 minutes.
Exactly.
And then you get back to smiling afterwards. Just relax. It's fine. Yes. So. Yeah. It
is a good one, and I feel like it's kind of been forgotten.
It has.
Like, it doesn't have much of a legacy. Like, people don't talk about it. It doesn't come up very much. Mm-hmm. So when I saw it on your list, I was like, I loved this movie. Yeah. Like, it's such a fun movie to revisit. Mm-hmm.
But I also think it came out at a time period where this kind of movie was a thing.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of, like, those weird ensemble, slice of life kind of films coming out.
And slightly darker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because, you know, everybody suddenly wanted to make everything realistic. You know, it's just like with anything. Now you're doing superhero movies where there's blood and they die, or, you know, teenage comedies where people overdose on drugs. You're just like, okay, I get it. But can we go back to a certain point where you're just like, oh, they're having a party and they're drunk. Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Escapism.
Yeah, you know, just a little bit of escapism would be really, really nice.
Yeah.
And I understand the want for real characters and the want for, like, a real story to be told, but that's what documentaries are for. Let's have a little bit of fun.
It is interesting though, right now, I feel right this minute, we're at the darkest point of our history of being alive.
You think so? Not like the Dark Ages?
Us being alive is you and I, not not humanity.
Yes, okay, gotcha.
Like, in my life anyway. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, the fact that Trump just got acquitted, which I didn't knew was going to happen.
Yes.
Like, there's literally nothing he can't do. Mm-hmm. And the Republicans are completely immoral. They've ripped up the Constitution. There are no checks and balances. Yeah. And every other, like hate crimes are up all around the world. Mm-hmm. Like, it's
the threat of nuclear warfare has returned for no reason.
Yeah.
There's a disease outbreak happening.
Yeah. And there's like natural disasters, like crazy fires everywhere. Mm-hmm. Australia, California.
A couple of plane crashes.
It feels like end times.
Yeah.
Like, it feels dark.
I think this is not the first time I've mentioned this, but I think this is the start of the apocalypse. I don't know.
It does feel that way. So I feel like, but movies and TV shows, I feel, are getting kind of dark as well. Like, they're responding. And it's interesting, because, like, you would think that when times are dark, you get super fluffy things for people. But I don't feel like that's happening.
No, I don't think... I think the art is definitely reflecting the times that we're in.
Yeah.
And instead of trying to... not necessarily cover it up, but maybe, like, switch people's thinking about stuff. People are just like, no, this is what it is. Yeah. This is what you're getting, you know? So there's a lot of, like, even comedies and stuff is, like, purely dark humor, you know, or, like, serious dramas are, like, death and destruction, and they're bloody and they're horrible, and, you know, it's just so much stuff being pulled out of you. I mean, you think of, like, some of the most popular TV shows that we have right now. They're like, what's that show that's out with, that just started the other day? With Jason Bateman in it, and he's, like, accused of murder.
Oh, the Stephen King one.
Yeah. Oh, so, like, shows like that, you know, are becoming so popular. True crime, reality, or dramas. They're, like... They're so popular right now. I know. And I'm sitting around trying to, like, can I watch something that's not so dark? and then everything I watch has this like super dark element
I agree.
underneath it. You know what I mean?
I've been watching so many procedurals and so many mysteries and so many.
Yeah.
Like everything is very dark.
Mm-hmm.
But even the comedies, like Fleabag, it's like one of my favorite shows of all time.
Yeah.
It's dark.
It's dark.
It's so dark.
I haven't started watching it yet.
Oh my god, you have to watch it.
I will definitely get around to watching it. But
It's pretty bleak for a comedy, right? It's very funny.
Yeah.
But bleak things happen in it, and she is not a happy person.
No,
and
not at all.
Her family is fucked. Like it's very dark. I don't want to ruin it too much for you, but it's
okay.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And like other movies or TV shows like Catastrophe.
Which one's Catastrophe? I don't know that one.
It's another British comedy. It's also on Amazon. It's basically about this Irish woman and an American man. They fool around, have a one-night stand. She gets pregnant. Mm-hmm. And it takes place in London. Okay. And then she calls and lets him know, and he decides to just move to London and try to make a go of it with her. Okay. That's the premise, that they are these strangers that did a one-night stand and then just make the weird decision to try to be a couple so that they can be there for the baby. So it's
knocked up except international.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And it's so funny. Mm-hmm. It's really well done. Yeah. But they're both very flawed. It's not as dark as Fleabag, but it's not a sunny comedy.
Yeah, okay. But, so it's not like the 1980s sitcoms where everything's just gonna be okay.
But it's really, really good.
Yeah, but that's like BoJack Horseman.
Yeah, I haven't watched that one, but I hear it's quite...
It is so good. Yeah. But I will never recommend it to anybody because it's so dark. Like, especially like every season, they just top the darkness and the bleakness, over and over. And like, this is the last season. The last couple episodes just got put up on Netflix, and I was gonna watch it yesterday, and I was like, I can't do this right now. I have to be in like a mood, like. But
I feel like I'm a person that did love Julia Roberts all through the 90s. Like, I love very happy, sunny movies and TV shows, but just by the nature of what's being out there, and like, I guess, there are things that are dark that are good that I like, but I feel like I'm watching so many things that I normally wouldn't have thought I would watch. Like Black Mirror. Yeah. I was obsessed with Black Mirror. Mm-hmm. It's the most negative show. Every single thing is just about...
It's all about the end of the world and how horrible people are.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the worst of humanity. Mm-hmm. Every episode is how technology brings out the worst in humanity. Yeah, yeah. With very few exceptions. Mm-hmm. And I just loved it. So I don't know what's happening to me.
I don't know. I've only watched one episode of it and I didn't like it, so I didn't watch any more of it.
Really?
Yeah. I know, it was a show that was recommended to me by a lot of people. They're like, it's right up here, it's all sci-fi and it's weird and it's funny and it's interesting, and I'm like, you're gonna love it. Especially like this one like Star Trek parody episode. It's gonna be amazing. That's the episode I watched, and I was like, I hated every minute of it.
Really?
Like, it started, and I was like, that's interesting, oh, okay. And then it kept going, and I was like, why is this taking so long to finish? I'm not enjoying this experience. What is going on? Yeah.
I liked that one. I mean, they're all quite dark. Like, that one has some dark things in it, too.
Oh, it gets very dark. Yeah.
I mean, they're all a little bit like that, but you know what? They're also... It's an anthology, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, it's new characters, new situations.
Every episode, yeah.
You could probably find one that you like. Mm-hmm. I mean, you don't
but the problem is it's the work of doing that in show. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of shows where people are just like, oh, you have to get to like episode 5. That's when it gets good. And I'm like, I don't have 6 hours, 5 hours to get there.
You don't have to get there because they're all standalones.
Yeah.
So you could just pick one. Like, there's one called San Junipero. It's actually not negative.
Okay.
It's very cute.
Okay.
It's actually a happy one.
Okay.
It's true. It is. It is.
I might have to give another episode a chance. Yes.
Watch that one.
Okay.
It's not characteristic of the entire series, but it is such a good show that I've revisited that episode if I wanted a boost
of like just like to be a little happier or whatever.
Yeah, it's very good.
But that's like what is it? The Love, Sex, and Robots anthology that Netflix did.
I tried to watch that too.
I actually loved all of it.
Really?
There's probably about 2 of them that I was like very...
I feel like they're just as dark as Black Mirror.
Oh, they are. That's what I'm saying. Like, they are as dark, because a lot of them have to do with horrible people doing horrible things, or technology going against what you think it is, and all this kind of stuff. But I just really liked them.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought those were really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also cartoons.
It is. Well, there's one that's live action, but yes. I don't know. There's a civilization in a fridge. I don't know what you're gonna do about that.
I haven't finished it. I'll watch it at some point.
I do like them. I actually do really enjoy it, especially there's the 3 robots one is my favorite. It's just these 3 robots are on vacation in a destroyed city, and you're just like, where is this? And by the end of it, you realize it's Earth, and like the apocalypse happened, and only robots are left.
Oh,
and like it comes across as just 3 buddies going, oh, did you see this? Look at that. Oh, I heard about one of these, and blah blah blah. And they're just it's shit you talk about on vacation, you know, and it's just interesting.
They're touring Earth post-humans.
Yes. So it's really nice, and it's very funny.
That's very nice.
It's very funny. I don't know. It just seemed like conversations I'd have with my friend, and then by the end of it, you realize, oh yeah, we're all dead. And then
so
there's
kind of like Planet of the Apes.
Yeah. And then there's one about yogurt destroying the Earth. It's fine. I'm not gonna try to explain that to you. It's just really funny though. There's a couple of really weird ones in there.
Have you seen the movie Midsummer?
I have not. No.
Well,
I've heard very good things about it. But all of those good things are horror elements, and I'm like, I'm good. Right. I'm not a horror person, so
I don't think you should watch it then.
Okay.
I watched it because a friend wanted to watch it, and I kind of regret watching it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. It's that kind of...
Do you know what? It's weird, because it's not particularly scary in the sense that...
Like, violent? Or
no,
like...
it's very violent, but I mean, in terms of this... Well, I mean, it's not scary in the sense where a horror movie has a bad guy stalking people, and you worry for their safety, and you know that something's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Like, bad things happen, a lot of it off camera, I guess.
Okay.
But it's just paced like they're at this cult and you know that bad things are going to happen. But it's not paced in a way like a horror movie where you're like...
Oh,
worried.
But it makes you uneasy the whole time.
You're very uneasy, and then when the bad things happen, like some of it is so disgusting. I wish I hadn't seen it. Yeah. And then the director just cuts. Like, usually there's some sort of build-up, the music builds up, and you know something. So you have the opportunity to close your eyes if you want, right?
Yeah.
And then you know when it's over.
Yeah.
Well, in this, it's kind of presented in a sort of a bland way, almost, like it's just a normal thing. And then they cut away, and they have other people talking, and then it just cuts back to the gore.
Yeah.
Right? And then, so you don't really have a chance to... There's no warning. You can't cover your eyes.
There's no way to look away from it.
So
right?
I kept and I just... I'm thinking about it.
All right. Yeah. Definitely not going to see that one then. No. Definitely not. All right. Yeah. Yeah. No. Okay. Yes. And now you're thinking about it. Let's get back to Closer.
Let's get back to Closer, yeah.
Anyways, I don't know. I found myself enthralled by the overall movie, so I didn't take that many notes. But definitely, like there was just a lot of stuff in it. You know, like I also find the cinematography of the whole movie, you know, really cool. Like especially the scene where you go to the art exhibit and she has the photographs.
Yes.
And they're all light boards that are giant and they're leaning and it's light and it's dark and everybody's got these shadows on their faces and people are hiding and people aren't hiding and all that kind of stuff.
It's such a sleek, beautifully shot movie. It's also, I feel like, in a way, I was going to say it's kind of about artifice because everything is really beautiful on the outside, but then these people are quite
dark
venal and terrible on the inside.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is maybe part of the intent
of the overall. Yeah.
But the interesting thing is, I feel like these people are openly bad people in a weird way because they're so addicted to saying the truth.
Yeah, but they're also, when you first meet them, they're disarmingly charming.
Yes,
right.
That's right.
Because when you first meet Natalie Portman, or you first meet oh my god, I forgot his name. Jude Law.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, he seems like a really nice guy.
And you love them together. They're so cute.
Yeah, they banter, they're laughing, and you're just like, what's going on? You know? Yeah. And it's very interesting.
All of them are kind of like that, too. Like, Julia is, I think she's very charming.
Yeah.
Clive Owen just looks like such a good guy.
Yeah. And you feel bad for him at that point in time because you're just like, oh, he's just a lonely guy. He's being pervy at work, so he's he's on like a chat line or whatever. And I thought that part was really funny, though.
I thought so, too. That was a great conversation.
It was.
Hilarious.
And then he gets set up and all this kind of stuff, and you're like, you feel bad for him. You're like,
But it really works out for him.
Yeah, it works out for him, right? But then, as their characters progress and as time goes by, you're just like, oh, I don't feel sorry for you anymore.
Exactly.
You're a dick. I really wish that didn't work out. I wish she slapped you and walked away. Exactly. That kind of thing. But that also reminds me of something. So, right at the beginning of the movie, when they meet and Natalie Portman gets hit by the car, she turns her head and she says, hello, stranger.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the thing is you realize she doesn't know him, he doesn't know her, and they never know each other by the end of the movie, really.
Well, she's never even told him
her real name.
Yeah.
But one thing I realized as well, so the part at the art gallery, when just after Julia Roberts is talking to Jude Law and comes back, Clive Owen turns to her and says, hello, stranger.
Oh.
And that also means, like, I think the correlation is, that's the only time it's said, until the end when they're quizzing each other or whatever.
Right.
But that's the only time where it's said in earnest, like, hello, as part of a conversation. Yeah. And it leads me to believe that that's a point where just like you have to realize he doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know something bad is happening.
Right.
So it's the two people that were cheated on say hello, stranger, to the people who cheat.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So I picked up on that.
That's a good observation.
Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping it was purposeful. And if it wasn't purposeful, well, you did something right.
Well, I mean, it was a play first, right? So he's had a lot of time. Like, I feel like plays are more concerned with symbolism sometimes.
Yes, yeah,
right?
because
and structure, because it's all yeah. Mm-hmm. And then that's a carryover.
Yeah,
like it's very it's very formally structured.
Yes,
this movie.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because it's very much set up in, like, vignettes, like, scenes. Yeah. And they jump, and I think each jump is, a year apart or something like that?
I can't recall, but they jump forward. And, yeah. It is very interesting. It'd be interesting to see it made now in the current climate. Yeah. Because it would be hard to write a movie where women are so meekly taking all this abuse.
True, yes. Like, and I wonder if they would switch the roles,
maybe,
or they'd want to do something crazy, like it's a gay couple and lesbian couple and a guy and a girl get together, like they'd want to throw some sort of
it up
some way, yeah.
And like, I mean, the power of that scene with Clive Owen and Natalie Portman in the strip club is partly because of the uncomfortable power imbalance, but
that's in there.
But more than ever now, I feel like people would be very uncomfortable with that scene.
Yeah, but you have to realize too is that one of the reasons why that scene works as well is that he thinks he has all the power. Yeah. Whereas she's actually the one with the power because he can't touch her. You're on tape. Yeah. If anything happens to me, you're a dead man. You come out. So I can even wave my hand and call them in here. Yeah. So she does
have
backing.
That amount of power.
But he has a certain amount of control. Yeah. She has to service him.
But it's interesting though that she's telling him her real name. Mm-hmm. I wonder why.
I think it has to do with the fact that they were both in the same situation and they both found out a truth and he deserves truth.
Yeah. But she wasn't willing to open up about it.
No. But I also think that's because he wouldn't believe what she said. Right? Just like at the end when Jude Law wouldn't believe her, she just starts to shut down and she's just like, nope. And here, I'm just going to tell you what you want to hear. I had sex with him. We did it all night. It was dirty and disgusting. Is that what you want to hear? And he's like, I knew it. And she's like,
I don't love you anymore.
Yeah. And I think that's a good point not to love somebody at that point in time where you won't believe someone just because you heard something. Yeah. And then you're going to lord it over me until I confess to something that isn't true. Right. So she's not believed.
It's a very frustrating arc for her.
It is, yeah. But that is a proper point to just be like, I don't love you anymore.
Yes. It's the best thing she could do. Mm-hmm. And it was the most powerful thing she could do.
Is just walk away from the situation.
Because he can't control that.
Yeah. And he thinks he can because that's what he's been doing all along.
He's been just sort of taking who he wants, and even if there's like obstacles, he knows he's going to be able to get it. It seems.
Yes.
And he always succeeds.
Yeah.
He gets Julia Roberts, and then he gets Natalie Portman.
Yeah. Which it just seems not right.
He's a beautiful man, but I mean, I hated him.
Yeah. But I mean, he also did Alfie around that time too, where he played kind of the same
That's true.
asshole character. Yeah. And you're just like, I understand you're pretty and you kind of come across as smug, but don't be the asshole of Hollywood. Like that is not a place you want to be in.
Well, he was also in The Talented Mr. Ripley, where he was kind of the same rich, careless,
snobby guy. Yeah.
But he gets kind of punished for that.
And he's also in The New Pope right now, where he plays, well, technically in The New Pope, he's in a coma? I don't know. But his character is like, he's the Pope, and he's not the new Pope, the young Pope, sorry. Where he's a guy who becomes Pope, but he's very young, but he's also very progressive, and he's snobbish, and because he's so beautiful, and people need to understand him, and all this kind of stuff, and you're just like, I want to watch you do this, because it's fantastic, but oh my god, you're such an asshole. You know, like, you're just like, come on. I only watched the first season and half of the second season, so I have to catch back up. Yeah. But I loved the first season. I thought the first season was fantastic.
Really?
The second season kind of meandered, and I think that's why I stopped, and I was like, oh, I'll catch up, and then I haven't as yet.
Right.
But now John Malkovich is in it, and I'm like, oh, I gotta get back on that train. So yeah, I gotta get back on there.
I didn't have any interest in watching it, but now I feel I will, because people keep talking about it.
I accidentally watched. It just came on after I was watching something, and it was one of those things like, I got nothing else to watch. Right. So I sat down and watched. I was like, oh, this is good.
Autoplay strikes again.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, no, I think you should give it 2 episodes.
Okay.
And yeah.
I'm curious, and I do like him. I haven't really seen him much lately.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember he was in AI? He was like the gigolo robot.
Never watched that movie.
Oh,
never seen it.
I wouldn't recommend it, actually. Mm-hmm. I didn't really like it.
I know a lot of people did not like it, and I think that's one of the reasons why I never saw it while I was in theaters. And since then, I don't think even like networks want to pick it up and stuff because it's not been on TV.
Yeah,
it's not. I don't even think it's on Netflix or anything. Like I think it's been forgotten, kind of thing.
And it's Steven Spielberg, which he usually doesn't get forgotten.
No, exactly. But yeah, no, I've never seen that one because of that. Like I won't actively look for it, but if I come across it, I'll have a watch. But
he's sort of charming in it. He's like a gigolo robot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he's all like that uncanny valley, plastic face kind of look. Yeah. Yes. Much so.
He's played a lot of that. And he was a male hooker in Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, too.
Was he in that?
Yeah. I think so. I think he was the...
I've only seen that movie once, and it was like when it came out.
Yeah. No, I know.
That was like
so long ago.
25 years ago? Something like that? I don't know. Yes, I know. It's fine. Anyways, us young people are going to continue our discussion.
That's right. We saw that on like video years later. DVD years later.
Oh yeah, no, I saw this like a year ago. It was fine. That movie is so old, unlike me. It's fine. Oh god. Yes. Anyways.
Well, anyway, I was glad to have the chance to rewatch this movie because it doesn't come up very often in conversation, and it's actually very good. Yes. I enjoyed it again.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Good. Yeah, I think the saddest part with some of these movies when you rewatch it again, you're just like, oh god, no. But when you rewatch it and you're just like, oh, that holds up. It's like a weight off your chest kind of thing.
I agree. Mm-hmm. And also, they don't really talk like normal people talk.
No, they don't.
Like, it's very stylized, their conversation. So it's sort of, in a way, timeless because it's not like they're mimicking the conversation style of the time.
Yeah.
Like, it's just very mannered.
Also, one thing I realized with the movies is they they very little use technology except for the one scene on the computer,
Right.
which kind of ages the movie.
Yes.
But everything else is just them face to face, and
Yeah.
they're in situations where, like, they're on the street in London and they pick up a black cab. Black cabs have looked the same
Exactly.
since forever.
And strip clubs have always been around.
Yeah.
And continue to be around.
And they look the same, you know? So it's not like they're not trying to text each other. They're not going to a video store. They're not, I don't know, what's something that's really, they're not talking about Bill Clinton. Like, it's not in a place.
He didn't lard it with pop culture references.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and because it was a play first, like, it's not, like, dependent on a lot of technology that would have been difficult to put on a stage.
Oh, that's a question I had. So the part where he's, typing, do you remember if on stage, like, if they had a different... dynamic for that was like
how they have done that. I don't remember because I've never seen it staged.
That's true.
I've only read it.
So, but I like say in the book, like it'd say something
it would
like
have been maybe they had a screen and you could see the words.
Or something.
It's very visual. Or maybe they're. It's more effective to see the words than to have them read it out.
Definitely.
But I don't know how they.
If they read it out, it would have been so excessively vulgar. Oh my god! Oh my god! Yes.
It would have been funny.
Actually, the really funny part was when Jude Law was just like, he's like, oh yeah, and he goes at the keyboard, and just like all the letters. I'm like, you're believing this? You think this is how it works? No.
So funny.
And he's there with his cigarette, drinking his like whatever, and just going at the keyboard. And you got Clive on the other side, who's like, oh my god, this is amazing.
That was a very cute scene.
It was. It's so gross, but it's hilarious.
It is.
Yeah. Any other notes or anything about either of these movies?
Not really. I mean, I feel like the comic book villains one is probably a reason why it's kind of forgotten, because it's not a very exceptional movie.
Yeah.
But it would appeal to people maybe that had a very specific interest.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like I don't think per se it's like a bad movie, it's just forgettable.
Yeah. It's kind of real. But it's easy to watch, and it was and without knowing anything about it, it was pretty surprising.
Yeah. Interesting.
And Closer, I feel it hasn't really aged that poorly, and I've always liked it.
Yeah.
But it will probably continue to have the same reception with people because it is a chilly movie.
It is, yeah. And I think it's meant to make people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And as with like the Me Too movement and women's rights and all that kind of stuff, it makes people more uncomfortable.
100%. This movie will not make people feel.
Yeah, like if you are easily offended by coarse language or vulgar conversation,
and if you just like seeing women being debased and which
and men being praised
and men being toxic,
for being horrible people and all that kind of stuff, then it may not be a movie for you. But if you want to see how to do a really good character study film where people have conversation and it's beautifully shot and everything and edited together.
Very well acted. Yeah. And very, very interesting dialogue. Like witty, fun, eloquent dialogue.
Yeah. And you're just shocked at how gross it is. You know? Yeah, definitely.
You just have to give into it, but yeah.
I mean, I like that you have this like deep love of film because you have made a film. Yeah. Yes. I think making a film is on my bucket list. Definitely.
It was a short film, but still.
But still, like I think it's good to like if you're gonna be part of an art, be able to understand the art.
Yeah,
you know
and I mean I've always loved movies like my whole life. So like I've always aspired to make one, and that's why I work in film and television to sort of be part of this process, even if it's on currently on the business end. Yeah. But yeah, like it's fun to be able to think of characters or stories that you'd like to tell, experiences that you've had, and then put them
out there for people. Yeah. And sometimes it works out well, like Closer, and sometimes it doesn't work out as well as comic book villains. But the fact you took the chance to do it, right?
I mean, for him, actually, it's probably satisfying because, like, as we read, like, that writer-director, like, he's himself a comic book aficionado, so it's probably very close to him. It's like, he's probably very proud of the movie. Yeah. And it probably maybe does say exactly what he wanted it to say. Like, for me, like, my film, like, my film Gaijin, which was like a short film that I made just about the plight of being a gay Asian man and trying to date in Toronto. And in turn, like the racism that you end up encountering.
Yeah.
It was a comedy, but it was like my story, and it was a story that I felt hadn't been told. It was fun to get it out there.
Yeah.
And
whether other people like it or not, as long as you believe you've told your truth and your story, I think.
Exactly. And you just sort of contributed. And like the good news is, like most people that saw it, I mean, people that would bother to tell me one way or the other, they seemed to like it, and it got into lots of festivals. It was like 24 festivals around the world, and I would like introduce it, and after in the Q&A it would be lively conversation.
Good.
And I had a lot of people of color come up to me afterwards and thank me for making it and say they really related to it. They don't see very much like that
kind of representation.
Exactly. So that's why, and one of the first, actually, if I can bring this around, like one of the first festivals that programmed it was the Real Asian Film Festival, which is a festival that's dedicated to showcasing films by Asians, so East Asians and South Asians, and like it's here in Toronto, and it's a really good festival. Like it's been around for a very long time. I'm on the board, and I joined the board because they had supported my film, and so I've always had a soft spot for them. Yeah, and because I also support what they do, their mandate to sort of showcase
different talent and stories and stuff.
Who are largely ignored. It's getting a little bit better, but Hollywood certainly, and Canada, like they don't showcase a lot of Asian work. Yeah, and so this festival is trying to correct that. Yeah. So anyway, the Real Asian Festival has a fundraiser every year. It's the Lunar New Year fundraiser. And the next one is coming up on February 27th. And it's a 12-course meal. There'll be a silent auction. There'll be some sort of entertainment. And it's supporting a very good cause, a very good festival.
Sounds like a fantastic cause, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, if anyone's interested, it'd be great. Like, you can buy tickets, like, just go to... Real Asian site, I think, is realasian.ca. Okay. If I'm wrong about that, if you just Google film. Yeah,
I'll definitely put a link on the website and everything so people can get to it and find it and stuff like that. Yeah.
And I'll be there, so I mean, it'd be fun to meet people too.
Yeah, you get to meet the podcast star Austin, who's also a writer and a director. He's, he does all the things.
I do all the things. I'm trying to do it again. I'm writing again.
Oh wow! Okay, that's fantastic. Yeah, so we'll have to get you back again and talk about that, huh?
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
I'd love to be on your shelf.
Yes. Oh, that'd be amazing. Okay. Yes. Yeah, because I'm not at Gaijin. I'm not a G's yet, so you have a chance.
I do.
There's a chance. Yeah. But yeah, no, that sounds really awesome. Yeah, for sure. I'll put a link on the website and stuff so people can find it and things.
That would be great.
Yeah. Right. First time I had somebody plug something on my show. It's really exciting. Anyways, but I hope we can get you back before Valentine's Day next year.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah.
So we can talk about some other fantastic movie in some way, and you can probably tell us about some cool real Asian films that were on this year.
Yeah, maybe. That would be great.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
Well, thank you so much for having me again.
Thank you for coming. You're always a fun guest to have, for sure.
I always have a good time.
Yay! Because I ply you with candy and sugar.
Yes, that is true.
Yes. I have a giant bowl of heart-shaped candy, as you know, still in front of me, and we're both just eyeing it like, I eat some now?
It's very festive and delicious looking.
Well, that's it for this episode of Off My Shelf. Until next time, you can follow along on Instagram and Twitter at ohmyshelf, or you can send an email to ohmyshelf@gmail.com. On the next episode, we'll be talking about the Conan the Complete Quest, which includes Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer. Hope you'll be here to listen.